Intimacy after 75, the psychology of connection and desire. As women grow older, especially beyond the age of 75, their understanding and experience of intimacy evolve in deeply meaningful ways. While physical closeness still matters, it's the psychological and emotional bond that often takes center stage. Intimacy becomes less about the body and more about the mind, memory, and heart. Let's explore some psychology-backed insights into how women in later life experience pleasure, love, and connection. Emotional intimacy becomes the foundation. For many women, deep conversation, shared memories, and emotional closeness bring more satisfaction than physical acts. Feeling emotionally seen and valued becomes the true definition of intimacy. Mental stimulation replaces physical pursuit. As the mind becomes the main source of desire, being intellectually engaged, respected, and deeply listened to feels incredibly fulfilling. Emotional understanding becomes the new form of arousal. The bonding hormone takes the lead. Oxytocin, often called the love hormone, flows through simple gestures, a warm hug, a gentle touch, or holding hands, reinforcing emotional security and companionship over passion-driven lust. Desire doesn't disappear. It transforms. Many older women still feel desire, but it's no longer about urgency. It's about comfort, trust, laughter, and emotional safety. Love becomes slower, deeper, and more meaningful. Communication becomes the new foreplay. For couples in later life, engaging conversations, shared humor, and emotional presence are powerful triggers for connection. Words can be more intimate than touch. Slow, mindful affection takes priority. With age, there's a growing appreciation for gentle, intentional touch. Every movement, glance, and moment of closeness becomes a mindful act of love rather than performance. Sensuality takes the place of sexuality. Warmth, eye contact, soft caresses, and loving gestures often bring more fulfillment than physical intercourse. True intimacy now exists in shared moments of peace and tenderness. The brain remains the most powerful erogenous zone. For many older women, arousal begins in the mind. Reading together, deep discussions, creativity, or spiritual connection can spark emotional and psychological pleasure. Freedom from body image worries. With age comes liberation. Many women begin to care less about appearance and more about comfort, authenticity, and emotional closeness. Confidence replaces comparison. Pleasure becomes connection-based. Satisfaction is no longer about physical release but emotional resonance. A look, a shared laugh, or a gentle touch carries more meaning than ever before. Healing through intimacy. Late-life connection can help heal emotional wounds. Some women rediscover trust, reclaim self-worth, or experience genuine intimacy for the first time. Intimacy without sex. Deep relationships can form through emotional and spiritual bonds that feel even more fulfilling than physical encounters. Presence and understanding replace performance. Final thought. After 75, many women don't seek physical penetration. They seek to be understood, seen, and loved in the mind and heart. Intimacy becomes a language of presence, empathy, and respect. It's not about what happens between bodies, but about what flows between souls. Part 2. Emotional depth, memory, and the changing meaning of desire as women move into their later years. Intimacy takes on a richer, more reflective meaning. It becomes a space not just for touch, but for understanding, comfort, and emotional remembrance. For many, every gesture, every conversation carries decades of shared experience. Love after 75 is no longer defined by excitement or novelty, but by the peace and trust that grow from years of companionship. Emotional depth replaces performance. Younger relationships often focus on excitement and attraction, but older women find greater satisfaction in emotional presence, being seen, heard, and appreciated for who they truly are. Memory becomes an aphrodisiac. Shared history itself becomes a form of connection. Looking back on life together, recalling moments of laughter or challenge, can be deeply intimate, often more powerful than physical touch. Companionship fuels the heart. In older age, the longing to be close doesn't fade, it simply changes shape. A loving presence, gentle care, and small daily acts of affection become the essence of connection. The meaning of touch transforms. Touch is no longer about passion alone. It's about reassurance, comfort, and belonging. Holding hands during a walk, a soft hug before sleep, or a kind word can awaken the same warmth once brought by romance. The psychology of acceptance. Older women often report feeling more emotionally secure than at any earlier stage of life. They accept their bodies, their past, and their imperfections. This acceptance frees them from comparison and anxiety, allowing them to love with greater openness. Pleasure through peace. At this stage, many discover that the greatest pleasure comes from peace of mind, knowing they are loved, valued, and emotionally safe. The nervous energy of youth gives way to calm confidence, the spiritual layer of intimacy. Beyond emotion and body, many women find spiritual fulfillment in connection, whether through shared beliefs, meditation, or mutual reflection. The soul, not the body, becomes the meeting point of intimacy. In later life, desire doesn't disappear. It simply matures. What once was driven by physical attraction now flows from empathy, understanding, and lifelong companionship. Intimacy after 75 isn't about keeping youth alive. It's about celebrating the wisdom and beauty of emotional maturity. Part 3. The power of mind. Communication and emotional safety. As women grow older, the center of intimacy shifts from the physical body to the emotional and intellectual connection between partners. At this stage of life, the mind becomes the most powerful part of desire, and the heart becomes its compass. Communication as connection. Meaningful communication turns into the purest form of intimacy. Listening, sharing, and laughing together build emotional closeness that outlasts physical attraction. Every story told, every memory shared, becomes an act of love. The power of being understood. Feeling truly heard is one of the deepest emotional needs, especially in later life. When a partner listens with care and empathy, it ignites a sense of belonging and respect that's profoundly intimate. The mind as the new source of arousal. Psychologists say that as people age, mental and emotional stimulation replace physical triggers of desire. A thoughtful conversation, a creative idea, or shared curiosity can spark the same warmth once brought by touch. Emotional safety over performance. Older women often value emotional comfort more than physical excitement. When they feel safe, accepted, and cherished, their bodies respond with ease and warmth. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. Humor and playfulness return. Laughter becomes an unexpected bridge to connection. A lighthearted joke or playful teasing rekindles joy, making partners feel young at heart. It reminds them that intimacy is not serious work, it's shared happiness. Mindful affection. Simple gestures like making tea together, watching the sunset, or sitting in silence carry deep meaning. Each act of mindfulness transforms ordinary moments into emotional closeness. Healing through honesty. For many women, later life intimacy is also about emotional healing, letting go of regrets, forgiving themselves and embracing vulnerability. Honest communication can mend old emotional wounds, creating peace and new beginnings. In the later chapters of life, intimacy becomes a language of the soul. It's expressed not through urgency but through understanding, not through desire alone, but through gratitude and emotional truth. Love at 75 and beyond is not about staying young, it's about growing deeper. Part 4. Wisdom. Connection and the beauty of lasting intimacy as the years pass. The meaning of love and intimacy becomes beautifully refined. What once centered around excitement and attraction now blossoms into something quieter, something far more profound. At this stage of life, Intimacy is no longer about the thrill of discovery, but the comfort of understanding. It's not about chasing perfection, but cherishing presence. The heart learns that the truest form of desire is simply wanting to be near the one who brings peace. Love becomes a calm language. It speaks through small gestures, a shared smile, a familiar touch, a word of kindness. These simple moments carry more warmth than grand expressions ever could. The strength of emotional maturity. With time comes wisdom, and with wisdom comes acceptance. Older women often see intimacy not as something to perform, but as something to feel. They embrace love as a shared experience of gratitude, tenderness, and quiet joy. The beauty of mutual respect. Long-term partners learn that respect is the truest form of passion. When both people feel seen and valued, intimacy deepens naturally. It becomes an exchange of understanding rather than expectation. Aging as transformation, not loss. Aging doesn't take intimacy away. It transforms it. It softens it. It replaces insecurity with confidence and performance with peace. Every wrinkle tells a story. Every touch carries history. The soul remains ageless. While the body changes, the soul's capacity for love never fades. The heart continues to seek connection, warmth, and belonging. Proof that intimacy has no expiration date. The quiet power of presence. In the end, what matters most is not passion, but presence. Sitting together in silence, holding hands, simply being, these become sacred moments of love in its purest form.